Flipping 320 on its head. Episode 1, Leaving Your Mark. Okay, to begin with, we always set a purpose whenever we're reading. If I have an article from social studies, of course, and I'm going to have a reason why I'm reading that article. If I'm in science class, I'm going to get a reason for reading that piece from my science teacher. Well, here what I want you to do is I want you to read The Lost Dog. And your purpose, you have three things that you're doing for me. These are your purpose is threefold. The first one is you're going to take the character Daryl. Daryl's the main character in this piece, and I want to know about Daryl. What does the author say about Daryl? But it goes beyond that. It's not only what he says, but what do other characters say about him? How does he act? How does he feel? Okay, what changes does he go through? Characterization. The second thing you're going to do, you're looking for author purpose. Why does the author write this piece? Is it to Is it to persuade? Is it to entertain? Or is it to inform? Remember that acronym PIE? So, find some evidence. Why does he write that? Last thing, you're looking for theme. What is that central, overarching, universal statement that comes from this piece, The Lost Dog? All right? You can pause the video right here, read through it. You might want to print it so you can mark on it. It's up to you. But I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, guys, so I've had a chance to take a look at The Lost Dog. So let's just kind of go over it just a little bit, all right? So I gave you three things that I wanted you to look for: characterization, author's purpose, and theme. So if we take a look at, let me get my pen here. If we take a look at this opening paragraph right here, all right, it's right here. We can take a look at it. We're going to notice, and I'll get the highlighter out here too. We're going to notice that we get a few things about our main character, Daryl. All right, we're going to get orange here. And the first thing, we'll go blue. And the first thing that we notice is that Daryl says, I was supposed to take the dog for a walk, but it was cold outside, and he didn't want to go do it. Okay, so we kind of get a feeling for what Daryl is. Again, the author doesn't come out and tell us that Daryl is irresponsible. We have to make that inference. Remember, writers write, readers infer. Right? So we move on through it. And it says, however, another neighbor dog came along and his dog took off. He hurried to grab his coat, and when he got outside, see, it says, when he got out, the dog was gone and he couldn't find him. I love this next word, distressed. Okay? It's a great way to describe his mood. He came in and, oh my goodness, he could have said, I was worried and I returned home. But instead, the author uses the word distressed. It means it's got a little bit more punch to it. All right, so distressed, he comes home and he confesses what he did. So right away, again, we as good readers infer, hey, Daryl's not such a bad guy after all. Right? And he takes his punishment. He says, my mom was very angry with me that I was not responsible, but we made signs and flyers. Okay, we're going to go back to our pen here. All right, so then he and the sister go out and they go looking for the dog. Okay? And then right here, I'm going to go back to my highlighter real quick. Then right here, he says, the whole time I was incredibly sad and worried about our dog. Okay? Again, it shows us about Daryl's character. He really loves his dog. All right, we can keep going through and talking about Daryl as a character in the book. But we're going to move on to, we're going to skip author purpose. We're going to talk about theme. And so I'm going to switch my highlighter color to good old yellow. And where I'm going to go to is right here, what Daryl says. All right, because that's our theme. What seems easy initially may turn out to be difficult in the end. Okay? And that's the theme that the author wants you to get from this whole scenario. That though it might seem like something is going to be easy, you end up doing more work for it. All right? So, and then our author purpose, I think, the author's purpose is more than just to entertain. Yay, he wrote a nice story. But the author's trying to persuade you into thinking, hey, you know what? You really can't take the easy way out of doing anything. Because then he says at the end, ever since that morning, I have remembered the important lesson that I learned. Okay? So, author purpose, author theme, purpose, and characterization. There's one more thing I want to point out to you real quick before we go. Okay? And that is, remember in class we talked about again and again. That's when something is repeated over and over throughout the story. So I want us just to take a look at something. Okay, and I've highlighted this part, so I'm going to underline it. It was so cold outside that it was so cold I didn't want to go outside. Okay, I'm going to switch over back to the highlighter real quick so I can do the rest of these with the yellow. Because then it says right here, all I could think about was how cold it was and how cold it must be for my dog. Okay. Then the author goes on to say, all I wanted was to stay at home, but now I was extremely cold, and so was my dog. So we go back up here to pull up a shape here. Oh wait, that's clearing shapes. There we go. We're going to pull up a shape here, and you see right up here, get this to work here. Come on. Oh, those are in white. There's white. All right, that's not going to work. All right, so we're just going to draw our arrow in here. We'll go with green. Right up here, Daryl tells you, it's cold outside. He didn't want to go out. But then down here, he has to go out looking for his dog. Okay? And then here again, he's worried about it being cold. All right? So we see that theme, the conflict of character versus nature in here. And we also see that theme start to produce that, just because something was easy way up here, he lets the dog out. Up here, yeah, go out and do what you need to do. I'll keep an eye on you. It ended up costing him more, and even though he was cold up here, he got even colder down here. So hopefully that didn't confuse you. Keep in mind so that when you come back into class, we're going to go through a sheet, and I want you to keep these things in mind. All right? So, thanks for listening. Let me know what you think of my video, okay? I'll talk to you later.